Have you ever thought that perhaps the greatest legacy of ancient Egypt is not inside the pyramids, but above them? For millennia, millions of people have traveled to gaze at these monuments in awe. We admire their size, precision, and mystery. But what if the pyramids were only one part of a broader vision? A vision in which the earth, human beings, and the stars spoke the same language. Welcome to Starlit Stories. Today we begin a journey through the worldview of ancient Egypt. Not only to ask what they built, but how they looked at the universe and what place they believed they occupied within it. For the ancient Egyptians, the sky was not an empty space filled with distant lights. It was a living book, a sacred map, a mirror in which they saw the order of creation and the cycles of life. Every sunrise spoke of rebirth. Every sunset marked a transition. Every season brought a new beginning. The sun held a central place. Its daily path showed the journey between light, shadow, and the return of life. But it was not the only actor in the sky. One star was essential to them, Sirius, called Sabdat. Its annual rising coincided with the flooding of the Nile, the natural event that made planting possible and sustained the kingdom. Looking at the sky also meant preparing to plant, build, celebrate, and give thanks. Astronomy was not separate from daily life. It was part of it. Temples, rituals, and calendars reflected that deep attention to the rhythms of nature. Today we know, through archaeology and Egyptology, that the Egyptians understood several cycles of the sky and the apparent movement of certain celestial bodies very well. We also know that many works have very careful orientations, a sign of constant observation. Even so, questions remain that attract experts from several fields. How far did their astronomical knowledge go? What meaning did they give to certain stars? Was there a deeper union between architecture, numbers, and the universe? These are open questions that continue to inspire research. What is clear is that for them, looking at the sky was not a pastime. It was a way of understanding life. The universe revealed an order that had to be reflected on Earth. That principle was Maat. More than a goddess, Maat symbolized harmony, truth, justice, and balance. Governing, raising a temple, judging, or cultivating were acts meant to care for that order. Nature, human beings, and the cosmos were not separate worlds. They were a single fabric. What would happen if we also looked at the universe not only through science, but to better understand our place within it? Perhaps that is one of the most relevant questions Egypt leaves us with today. If the universe reflected order, Egyptian stories could also explain that order. Today we call them myths. For them, they were teachings about balance, change, consciousness, and the cycle of life. Isis and Osiris, for example, do not only tell of the loss and rebirth of a king. They also show the hope that life always finds a way to return. Horus symbolizes the return of balance after chaos. Thoth appears as the guardian of knowledge, writing, and wisdom. Rather than reading them literally, many scholars see these stories as a symbolic language for understanding existence. Temples were great books of stone. Each column, relief, and inscription joined sky and earth in a single story. Some works align with celestial events. Others seem to reveal mastery of proportions and geometry. Archaeology continues to study these features through engineering, architecture, and astronomy. At the same time, several contemporary authors have opened new questions about the meaning of those patterns. Greg Braden reflects on ancient traditions of knowledge and human consciousness. Robert Edward Grant explores links between geometry, art, and mathematics in different cultures. Teresa Bullard studies intersections between physics, symbol, and ancient schools of knowledge. Nassim Haramein raises questions about the structure of the universe and how certain cultures viewed nature as a unified network. Billy Carson researches ancient texts and proposes new readings of the knowledge preserved by various civilizations. Matthias de Stefano and Elsa Ferris invite us to look at these sites through symbol and consciousness, and to ask what teachings still inspire human beings. No perspective closes the debate. On the contrary, all of them remind us that Egypt continues to awaken questions thousands of years later. Perhaps that is the sign of a great civilization. Not only the answers it left behind, but the questions it still provokes. What if the pyramids were not only monuments to admire, but an invitation to observe more deeply? What if the real mystery were not beneath the sand, but in the way we look at the universe? Perhaps we will never answer everything. And perhaps that is not the goal. Each generation looks at the same sky with different tools, but with the same sense of wonder. The Egyptians looked upward to understand cycles, orient temples, and find meaning in the stars. We look upward for different reasons, although we seek the same deeper answers. Who are we? What is our place in the universe? Is there an order we are still learning to understand? Beneath the same sky the ancient Egyptians once observed, those questions remain alive. And perhaps that is the greatest inheritance they left us. Civilizations may fall, monuments may wear away, but human curiosity travels from generation to generation, just as the stars cross the sky each night. Remember to subscribe and leave your comments to receive more content like this one. In the next episode, we will explore Egypt's sacred language, its hieroglyphs, symbols, and keys for expressing the eternal. Until then, let us keep looking upward, because the stars still have many stories to tell us.